Kevin Samuels says image is power, and one wrong move online can cost you respect, influence, and opportunities. Listen to this.
Image as power. Birth of a mindset. Birth of a mindset. And as a certified image master, certified image professional, somebody with extensive background in professional marketing and advertising, I think it's time for me to teach class. It's time for people, black people in particular, black people in general, black men in particular, to understand the power of image. Image as power. I've spoken about it in many different ways. See, a lot of times we get talked about racism and white supremacy, and a lot of that stuff, I mean, that stuff has its place. But I need everybody in here to understand how media can be used for whatever purposes deemed necessary. Today, I want to bring it home as one of the few actual image consultants on YouTube as a black man and the destruction of the black male image. Now, you've seen what's happened over this weekend with Brother Kwame Brown. And he talked about how you had men that share his reflection openly destroying him and ridiculing, talking about him. That man wasn't bothering nobody. And for 20 years, he laid out his case. I'm not going to relitigate it because he has done a masterful job. But I want you to think about something. One of the first things that happens, just like in this whole birth of a nation thing, is they mischaracterize you in the media. And they use little bits of truth mixed in with gross exaggerations. And in order to make it stick, you got to go along with it. What's one of the ways? Now, you can sit back and say, look at what them white people did. We don't need white people in this conversation right now because we do a good job of this ourselves. You got a black man that comes to you every day, Monday through Friday, in a suit, and look at what they've tried to do to me. Oh, but then, am I alone? No, this is the history. This is one thing you have learned well. You have learned how to destroy a black man's image for your own negative reasons. 1, jealousy. 2, scared. 3, envy. 4, you wish you had the position. Whatever the reason is, we're the only group of folks to do it to this level. For what? We don't need D.W. Griffith. When you got people that look like you that will do, first thing they do is try to either tell you you're either crazy, violent, aggressive. Gus. He was crazy, sex crazed, and crazed, gonna snatch that woman. Well, that's how they did it for the longest, cops and America's Most Wanted, and this and that, and pimps and hoes, such and so forth. But then they isolate that person, telling them, you better beware of the boogeyman. But then what happens on the other side? Then if you actually have the nerve to carry yourself in a different way, you carry yourself in a way that's not, street or country or whatever, however you want to frame it, then you got to be gay. Black men, are y'all tired of either being a thug or gay? Every time a black man rises to any sense in this country, he is going to have to deal with the fact that somebody's going to say he's a closeted homosexual. Whether he puts a dress on or not, from Shamar Moore. Think about it. You would probably do better to try to name me the men that they have not accused of being closeted gay. And it happened to Denzel Washington too, if you don't believe it, in the 80s. Yes, it did. So you either got to be a hyper masculine, or you're gay. the demonization of the black male image that we do for ourselves. Brother Brown talked about LeVar Ball. Now, LeVar Ball's crime was what? He has 3 sons that he calls his kings. And he has 3 boys in the NBA. If that man were non-black, he'd be on the cover of a box of Wheaties. Or if you're a black woman, he'd be on Mount Rushmore. But because he is who he is, what the media want to portray him is, every time he stood up for himself and didn't back down, he hates women. He hates women. He's a misandrist. He's crazy. Kwame, LeVar, Kanye, Kevin, the list goes on. And all of it is to get, well, who's that person to stand there? Why? We don't need outside folks when we're willing to do this to ourselves. For what reason? For what reason? See, that's one of the reasons I don't beef. Because I stay on code. There are plenty of people who talk mad shit about me. And I have never said a foul word about one of these people on my platform because I understand the power of image and the power of media. Now, I will tell you this, most of the people who say something about me have never had a conversation with me. Person to person, damn sure, but they will do whatever. But what y'all need to understand is we're reaching a critical mass in this time to where this is not working anymore. This is not working anymore because unlike when D.W. Griffith came out, when Hollywood and the media and the movie industry, it was much more controlled. It's decentralized. All you need is a smartphone and an internet connection. And now the rabbit has the gun. And people have an answer for what they say. And if you won't hold that, if you won't be that, if you won't act like the thing they're trying to say you are, it won't fit. And dressing up, dressing like a man makes you wrong. He was comfortable dressing like a boy. And I'm going to say it, it's a boy. I just took off joggers that I had on earlier today, but it's still not what men wear. Not taking care of business. But we have been convinced to take our own image so lightly that we don't even value the way we walk out of the house. So don't be surprised when somebody who looks like you can play with your image. That's why you could have somebody call that man's, don't judge him because this people's crazy. That's why we can do it, because we don't value each other's image. I told you I might not be going where you think I'm going with this. Image as power. And it is time out for it. My opinion is black men, we need to start calling out black men who play with the image of other black men. Calling them crazy, calling them thugs, calling them criminals when they don't have any of these records. Calling them betas, calling them gay, all this other stuff. Dr. Tommy Curry, man not. Are we not men? Just because the man may not walk like you, talk like you, groove like you, does he not deserve the same respect you demand for yourself? And if you think you got a problem with him, give him a damn phone call. Speak to a man before getting online talking about a man, because that's what we have witnessed. People getting online, trashing a man's image as if that was not a man. And we're so used to laughing at it. If you laugh at it, you're complicit in the destruction, in your own image destruction. If you laugh at tearing down another man, don't be surprised when it comes your direction. And we're the only group that really runs to do that. That's why it's so easy to do it. I went back and watched a lot of stuff that Brother Brown was talking about, Stephen A. Smith, and I'm sitting there like, Jesus Christ, where's this vitriol and stuff? And I gotta admit, a lot of stuff he was saying was making sense, even whether you believe it or not. The point of the matter is, let me ask you folks a question. He said it the other day. We can all tell you about Ray Rice. We can all tell you about what happened to Jay-Z on the elevator. But tell me the name of the Seattle player that damn near killed that woman and left her for dead. Why is it? Because we don't control our own media image. That's the thing I've been preaching for the longest. Black men need their own media for them by them. But until we have it, we need to do one thing: a black male code. We don't go to the internet talking shit about each other. That's off code. Even if you think you're right, you're wrong. Sit your little hot, immature ass down until you can talk to that man face to face, man to man. Because calling somebody out on the internet is a good way to end up destroying your brand in the future. Because here's the thing why I don't beef. Because just like you were able to see all this bad footage be pulled up about what this person said about that person, you're responsible for what you put online. It's called digital footprint. The ABCDs of image, appearance, behavior, communication, digital footprint. You know the stuff I've always taught about. I teach digital footprint. Once it's out there, it's out there. Every time you see a black man torn down, you don't need to see who you seeing around them first. Shout out to David Carroll. Shout out to BGS Hitmore. Shout out to Sergeant Willie Pete. I never really watched much of your stuff for Chronicles of Judah, but I know who first got this stuff. Look, there's so many people who could be shouted out. How many times we got to shout everybody out before we sit back and say, you know what, does it matter, or does it matter that we get the message out? Or do we care about who gets credit for it? Why is that so important? Because we have a scarcity mentality. Because black male media has yet to exist for black men by black men. Well, here's a chance. Understand that image is power, and everybody else seems to understand its power. When are black men going to decide to start going in their pockets and funding it for ourselves? Because I don't think you guys get it. Why would anybody else want to build it for you if they benefit off of you being where you are? The chances are there now if you can just stay out of each other's way. Shout out to brother Tariq Nasheed. I'm gonna say that too. And it's funny. I heard somebody went on this show and tried to ask him how he thought about me, and that brother said some of the things that I do he likes. Appreciate you for staying on code, man. And that man didn't say he liked everything I do. I'm quite sure there's a lot of stuff I'll say that he vehemently disagrees with. But instead, he just decided to say, I like this, and the rest of it, none of your business. Now, what's funny is just last week, I was looking online because I remember talking about that Mink Slide song. And when I did the shout out to Minister Jump Ballad of Mink Coats, I thought that shit was catchy. I was like, man, I would love to play this song. And I wanted to use the "It's Time" to lead into my interview segment. See, it's real easy. If you don't have nothing to say, your mama, your grandmama told you a long time ago, say nothing. Novel concept. Because in order to build something, we don't have to like each other. Just leave each other alone. Work with people where you can work with people, and when you can't, leave it alone. Because you can't complain about racism, white supremacy, D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, institutionalize this, police that, such and so forth, when the first person that comes after a black man looks like you. You can't even put this off on women. Black women will stay on code. How many times has the brother decided to be destroyed on the nerve of, I'm keeping it real? For who? What's the reality? You? Oh, there's only one representation of what a black man should be, and that's you. So this person ain't what it should be you. Why does everybody else work in a market to where everybody can eat? that Highlander mentality. There can only be one. Why don't we just take the high ground and say, yeah, people have been asking me what I thought about the things that have been going on, and I'm sitting back and I'm saying it's about time. It's about time we start talking about how we depict ourselves in media, how we choose to show up in media. We can't, and while back in 1915, you can blame D.W. Griffith for putting actors in blackface, and you can blame them for saying this was what you thought black people were. You can't do that the same way now. If we don't like our image, it's up to us to change it. So I'm going to do this. I'm not going to change the way I move. Not going to change the way I move. I've been saying it since day one. There's plenty enough room. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. And we do better instead of trying to decide who leads. Who needs to lead when who needs to lead when the market ain't even created? Build your own. Joe Rogan don't complain about what somebody else is doing. He don't complain about what Philip DeFranco is doing. They don't worry themselves about what PewDiePie is doing or Mr. Beast or Dude Perfect. None of them. Image is powerful, people. Image, mage, wizard, however you want to slice it. It is powerful. How you show up, what you do, what you say belies not just you. Like I've tried to say for the longest, there's an individual image, but there's also an ethnic image. And if we want better outcomes as men, we must improve our ethnic image as men. That comes from the way we carry ourselves, the way we appear, A, the way we behave, B, the way we communicate, the words that come out of our mouths, the way we type, the way we write. How many of you will sit down and write a comment in the comment section? Misspellings, intentionally misspelling words, no punctuation, and just leave it there. How about this? Write it on a note. How about you just hit spell check and grammar and let the system correct it? Because it's next to you, black man. Appear, behave, communicate. And if you don't know how, time to go back to school. I will say that it is a struggle, oftentimes, listen to the way we speak to one another. We can improve this. But it all comes down to this thing right here. The internet is here to stay. And what we put online, shout out to Maximus Decimus Meridius. What we do in life echoes an eternity. Once it's online, it will echo an eternity. Stop playing with your image. It's not a toy. It's not a game. Stop playing with other black men's image. It's not a toy. It's a game. And I will tell you this, when you choose to play with a man's image, you are choosing violence. Things so that's it's going around now. You're waking up and choosing violence when you mess with somebody's image because you're dealing with their brand, their reputation. So don't get surprised when it comes back at you in ways that you could not anticipate. That's why I don't beef. I'm not playing with nobody's image. I'm not playing with anybody's brand. too important. I'd rather leave it alone. Because as soon as time you decide to do that to somebody, you can't get upset when they come back as you. And are we not seeing that right now? Lots of lessons in the last week or so. What are we choosing to learn? So next time, talk at you later. Back on in 30.
Honestly, Kevin makes a strong point here. A lot of people underestimate how much their image affects the way others see them. In a world where everything lives online, one emotional decision, one public argument, or one careless post can follow you for years. Whether it's business, relationships, or your personal brand, your reputation matters.